Question number 81. True or false, there are differences in Azure services between regions. Option A. True. Option B. False. The correct answer is Option A. True. There are Azure services that are only available in certain regions, and not all regions have exactly the same services. The next question is, which of the following is the correct description of an Azure policy initiative? Option A. Custom designed policies are called policy initiatives. Option B. Policy definition set in Azure Resource Group. Option C. It is the functions to group several Azure policies. Option D. It is another name for Azure policy definition. The correct answer is Option C. It is the functions to group several Azure policies. Azure Policy compares the properties of resources in Azure with business rules and evaluates those resources. These business rules, written in JSON format, are called policy definitions. For ease of management, you can group multiple business rules into policy initiatives, also known as policy sets. Initiatives enable you to group several related policy definitions to simplify assignments and management because you work with a group as a single item. For example, you can group related tagging policy definitions into a single initiative. Rather than assigning each policy individually, you apply the initiative. The next question is, true or false, all users can use any region? Option A. True. Option B. False. The correct answer is Option B. False. Regions within China are only available to organizations that have business locations in China. Azure China has a special region that is only available within China in response to China's specific internet regulations. The next question is, true or false, traffic cannot be distributed across regions? Option A. True. Option B. False. The correct answer is Option B. False. Azure Load Balancer allows you to distribute inbound traffic arriving at your load balancer's front end across regions. Load balancing between regions is supported to enable geo-redundant HA scenarios such as incoming traffic originating from multiple regions, immediate global failover to the next optimal region deployment, load balancing across regions to the nearest Azure region using ultra-low latency, the ability to scale up or down behind a single endpoint. The next question is, please select the option to fill in the following blank. Your company implements blank. That automatically adds watermarks to Microsoft Word documents which contain credit card information. Option A. An Azure policy. Option B. DDoS protection. Option C. Azure information protection. Option D. Azure Active Directory ID protection. The correct answer is Option C. Azure Information Protection. Option C is the correct answer. Azure Information Protection can automatically add watermarks to Microsoft Word documents that contain credit card information. Azure Information Protection allows organizations to protect data and assets, hard drives, documents, physical assets, etc., by tagging or labeling them. Option A is incorrect. Azure policies are a service to comply with your organization's standards and compliance and are incorrect. Azure policies are used to ensure the integrity of Azure resources and security and cost compliance. Option B is incorrect. DDoS protection is incorrect because it is used to prevent DDoS attempts that prevent authorized users from using the application. Option D is incorrect. Azure Active Directory, Azure AD, ID protection is incorrect because it uses data from the Azure portal and is used for risk analysis. The next question is, true or false, availability zones are geographically independent? Option A. True. Option B. False. The correct answer is Option B. False. The regions are geographically independent, but availability zones within the region are geographically close and connected by a leased line. The next question is, true or false, availability zone comes with multiple edge locations? Option A. True. Option B. False. The correct answer is Option B. False. One AZ consists of multiple data centers, and the edge location is set up separately from the AZ. Microsoft deploys Edge Zone services at edge locations, allowing Azure services to connect directly to 5G networks within mobile operator data centers. The next question is: which of the following is a correct description for the free version of Azure? Option A: unlimited access for 12 months. Option B: some services cannot be used with the free version. Option C: no credit card is required to register as it is free. Option D: you can register one free subscription for each user. The correct answer is Option D: you can register one free subscription for each user. Option D is the correct answer. In Azure, you can register one free subscription for each user account. Option A is incorrect. A free Azure account offers $200 worth of Azure credits for the first 30 days and 12 months of free service, limited number. There is a limit to the number that can be used. Option B is incorrect. There are no services that cannot be used in the free version, but there is a limit to the number of services that can be created. Option C is incorrect. Even if you start with a free subscription, you will need your credit card information when you first register. The next question is: you are designing Azure architecture based on the principles of flexibility and elasticity in your cloud architecture. How do you achieve this? Option A: automate scaling on demand. Option B: set loosely coupled components. Option C: design services without the need of a server. Option D: implement infrastructure coding and sharing. The correct answer is Option A: automate scaling on demand. The concept of elasticity includes the ability of services to automatically scale resources based on changing demand. Scaling Set, a leading service that accomplishes this in Azure, helps automate the process of adding or removing virtual machines as demand increases or decreases. Option B is incorrect. Designing loosely coupled components reduces interdependencies between application components. Loose coupling is an approach that interconnects components in a system or network so that they limit the dependence on each other. Option C is incorrect. Serverless design is a method of designing a code architecture without using a server like a virtual machine. Option D is incorrect. Infrastructure coding is a response used to facilitate environmental automation. Exclamation mark. The next question is: true or false? Platform as a Service, PaaS, which hosts web apps in Azure, also gives you complete control over your operating system. Option A: true. Option B: false. The correct answer is Option B: false. Platform as a Service, PaaS, allows you to develop your own apps and services without having to maintain server management, OS control, software, and security protocols internally. The next question is: please select the incorrect statement about an Azure data center. Option A: a data center conducts third-party security audits. Option B: one or more data centers make up an AZ. Option C: users can leverage their own data center to deploy Azure services. Option D: Azure employees can access the data center. The correct answer is Option D: Azure employees can access the data center. Option D is the wrong explanation, so it is the correct answer. Even if you are an MS Azure employee, you are not informed of the location of the data center. Only specific administrators have this information. Therefore, this statement is incorrect. Option A is incorrect. Azure data centers perform third-party security audits to ensure security. Option B is incorrect. One or more data centers make up one AZ. Option C is incorrect. This can be achieved by using Azure Stack. Azure Stack is an on-premises version of Azure service that allows you to build an environment based on the same technology and management infrastructure as Microsoft Azure. The next question is: true or false, you can create multiple subscriptions for your Azure account. Option A: true. Option B: false. The correct answer is Option A: true. The Azure account structure allows you to create multiple Azure subscriptions within your Azure account. You can use this to set up and use multiple subscriptions for your Azure account. The next question is: true or false, you can create multiple Azure accounts for your Azure subscription. Option A: true. Option B: false. The correct answer is Option A. True. With an Azure co-administrator account, you can manage your Azure subscriptions with multiple people. You only need to add co-administrators if you need to use the Azure Service Management PowerShell module to manage your Azure Classic deployment. If you only use the Azure portal to manage your Classic resources, you don't need to add a traditional administrator to your users. The next question is: your company wants to stop using the infrastructure in its current on-premises environment. Which of the following cloud types should you migrate your infrastructure configuration to? Option A. Multi-cloud. Option B. Private cloud. Option C. Public cloud. Option D. Hybrid cloud. The correct answer is Option C. Public cloud. Option C is the correct answer. Since it is a prerequisite to stop using infrastructure in an on-premises environment, it is easiest to achieve cost optimization by migrating those systems to a public cloud. Option A is incorrect. There is no cloud method called multi-cloud. When using multiple clouds, it is called a hybrid cloud. Option B is incorrect. Private cloud is a method of setting up a cloud environment dedicated to your company in an on-premises environment, but it is not cost optimal because the installation cost, operation and maintenance cost are high. Option 4 is incorrect. The hybrid cloud is a configuration when the on-premises environment and the cloud are used together. This time, it is assumed that you will stop using the on-premises environment, so the configuration will be inappropriate for this situation. The next question is: the virtual machine SLA is 99.95%. Which of the following is the correct credit offer, in the case that the target Azure SLAs is not met? Option A. If the SLA is less than 99%, 10% credit will be provided. Option B. If SLA is less than 95%, 10% credit will be provided. Option C. If the SLA is less than 99.95%, 10% credit will be provided. Option D. If SLA is less than 90%, 100% credit will be provided. The correct answer is Option C. If the SLA is less than 99.95%, 10% credit will be provided. This option is correct as 10% credit will be provided if the SLA less than 99.95%. The relationship between the rate of the SLA and the credits provided for Azure Virtual Machines is as follows. If SLA less than 99.95%, 10% credit will be provided. If SLA less than 99%, 25% credit will be provided. If SLA less than 95%, 100% credit will be provided. Therefore, options 1, 2 and 4 are incorrect because they differ from the credit offer ratio above.